Sir, have you faced any biggest challenge or biggest conflict at your workplace? How did you, solve it?
Conflict
No,
happens.
from your experience.
Yeah,
No, maybe conflict in the sense conflict you can have with your boss or with your colleague.
Yeah.
How did you resolve it?
Lot of time conflict happens. Some conflicts are resolvable. Some conflicts we agree to disagree and then move on. Some of them you have a very important and you don't want to let go. That will derail your whole journey. So in those cases, you somewhere make sure that you make the other person align to your strength and whatever, right? That those things. So conflicts do happen, and many occasions, in our life, 30 years, you can imagine that I would have faced many conflicts. For example, one simple example I will tell you: UAE national, right? There was a UAE national in my team. There was generally there is a perception that UAE national should be promoted because very few, and then you give them a little lenient in terms of appraisal cycle and things like that. Whereas the regular person who comes through the rank and things like that. This is I'm talking about some 25 years, 30 years back, right? So what happens is that when I went there again, it is part of the learning process. Like I put the same yardstick, right? All my team is same. I don't treat anybody differently, right? We all came. You are also a project manager. He is also a project manager. I will measure both of them at the same yardstick and things like that. So one guy gets promoted, the other guy did not get promoted. Then immediate conflict. He made a hell out of the whole situation. He went to the HR. He said he is very biased. He wants UAE nationals not to grow. He came to our country and he's making this, and like you can imagine like the current situation for me to manage that conflict, right? There are like he is creating a team of people and telling them that I am against that country and that nationals, and I am promoting Indians and then other countries. So this is like uh, so I need a shoulder to cry and support and get things like that, because you are in another country and then all of these ganging up against you. This is a conflict. People, there will be few detractors. They will also support that. What is wrong? Because they are also they are in this country. You have come to their country, and what is there? Why not support like these kind of situations also, right? There are people who support that views as well. So this was a very difficult conflict, and there are situations I was not sure. He said, no, I will see what you will do next. Those kind of things, right? It just gone out of control, that kind of situation. But I think what I did was I stood my ground, be it with HR, be it with my CEO, be it with wherever. I put that across my views very clearly. I said, this is the measure, these are the tools, these are the appraisal metrics, these are the metrics. So a lot of data based or a fact based approach. Then the conflict was very clear: who is biased, who is not there, and things like that. So the situation was automatically, then he realized that he was at fault, and then he came around, and then he came to my house and said sorry, and I will so the whole journey got, because I was not emotional, I was showing the facts. I was not fighting. I was fighting with the issue and fighting with that data, right? So this is the one conflict where probably I would say I won. There was another conflict in my life. For example, I was working as a bank CIO in one of the banks, but the bank wanted to set up an IT subsidiary, right? They wanted to set up a IT subsidiary aligned with another MNC. They wanted me to be the CEO of that subsidiary, not bank CIO. I felt like I'm being sort of sidelined to that post, because I don't want to be a part of a subsidiary, because I want to be a part of the larger organization as an IT. CIO is much bigger job than a small IT company being set up outside the bank and then being part of that like that. So this is a conflicting situation, right? So I have with the board and everything, it has happened, and then finally I decided to move away from that company, move away from that bank, because the organization strategy is want me to run that as a CEO of that company, where I wanted to continue as CIO of a bank, which was a conflict. It was not a salary. It was not like, they are not given me any respect or whatever. They have given me a full freedom. They said, you run this company. don't work for only this bank, you work for every organization in UAE, all of that. But somewhere in my mind, I was not prepared for it, right? So this is a conflict, and the conflict was not like, it's an entire organization strategy, and the vision of the organization to set up a separate company and all of that. So I have to move away from that. So I have to move away from a cushy job and in a very good position to take another assignment like that. Those are situations happen. So there are conflicts like that as well. So it sometimes works in your favor, sometimes don't.
And with regard to this organization culture, sir, how do we familiarize our culture to the employees, for existing people as well as for the newcomers? Newcomers, I think they will agree. What about existing people how they willing to take our, the new cultural changes?
Yeah, I tend to sort of disagree on the new people will accept, right? Because it doesn't happen, right? So today, especially in this day and age, the new generation set of people who come, I am currently in a form of a transformation. Vibmo, which we are working today, Vibmo 2.0 is the journey which we are taking, right? So the organization has been a founder-led organization. Now it is moving to a corporate-led, and it has been under a very large group. Now, if you look at, there are enough set of people who work with a lot of passion and energy, and then they solve the problem. But they never solve the problem for scale, right? If you are in a small family-led environment, you work like a guerrilla task force, right? There is a task given, all of them work like 24/7, get that done, and then like feel good about it, and then they move on. But similar such three problems come, they cannot solve because they have not prepared themselves for the scale. Because they're a good team, they can go and solve one problem, great, and it's successful, right? So the scale was a challenge. So I think the Vibmo is going through that scale, right? So we are like very India centric now. I'm expanding globally. I hired people in South Africa, I hired people in Nigeria, I hired people in Kenya, in Philippines, in Dubai, in Singapore. So now there is a different set of people coming in. The expectation on your original organization is scaling up, right? They are expecting it. Every day we get 5 opportunities to present our products and things like that. Today it become 8 into 5, 40 opportunities come. So the organization is not prepared for that change, right? So it's a scale problem. How do you address that scale? So
Yes.
this is a conflict in the
Yes,
current
yes.
organization,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So how do you address this? This is one challenge we tell them. So for example, if you bring one guy, let's say you are bringing another guy, is equally capable, but the acceptance of that guy, oh my God, he brought another guy. So he is not giving me respect. Though I don't have any problem, I give them same treatment, same equal respect, same salary, whatever. But the perception is that, oh my God, he brought a new guy, my position is weakened, I am not going to be respected. So this is the mindset of existing people who have been very successful and implementing some, like a go-getter, very performers. You tell them they do, very dependable, loyal, they do it. But for them, it's a feeling of insecurity, right? That somebody else has come and probably my job will go to them, right? That's an insecurity. For the newcomers, it's a sense of achievement, right? Because when you are coming into a new organization, you want to prove that you are capable. In first 3 months itself, you want to show that no, you can achieve this, you can do this. And he says, I have done this in Barclays, I have done this in HDFC Bank. Now I'm capable. Give me this, give me that. Like that guy is in a very enthusiastic way. Now this team, he doesn't want to give away something which he is holding, right? So it's a huge conflict to be fixed. So this is where, as organization, I'm really struggling as an organization. So this is where what we've done now today is we are going through the cultural and the talent transformation, right? So we wanted to show the culture change cannot happen just like that. It has to bring the infusion of talent. The talent density is a very important factor, right? Because what we are not adding is somebody above you. We are increasing the talent density. I think that message is what I'm bringing it across. We are saying that, hey, you are a super X. I am bringing super Y, super Z at the same level. They are only scaling. What you are doing only for India, I need somebody for Middle East. I need somebody for Singapore. So you don't treat them differently. You have to work together as one team, right? So that change, it's a challenge, but we go through the challenge. In fact, multiple sessions I have had in the 6 months after I took over this job, different sessions, different leaders I have called from different organizations to speak, address this specific behavior, and I have lost few good people in the process. Right, there are few people who can't take this change, and they left. And very sad. I mean, they're not able to understand this change, irrespective of whatever communication, whatever strategy you explain, town hall, you explain through the process, weekly calls, fortnightly, updates, communication, whatever. But still, that some of them they leave. Good people leave. The newcomers, for example, the adaptation is a problem, right? There are people who get frustrated. Oh my God, I joined a wrong company. This is an incorrigible organization. Better I leave. That is an infant mortality, right? That's a big problem, right? Because you waited for that guy to hire 3 months, you trained him for 3 months, and then you lose. It's a big pain. So both are equally challenging. You lose a good guy, you hired a good guy with a hope, and then that guy leaves. So that's a big challenge as a cultural shift. So I still don't agree that new guys will just listen to you everything. It is this conflict you have to bridge. You have to bring some external factors to sort of influence. So some of the external factors, like I said, is like, whatever we call it, like, old techniques, some of them old techniques. For example, we just started bring your own drink. Like we wanted to have a coffee week every Friday, 5:30 to 6:30. No topics. Everybody just talk. Just chill out, because if it is in a remote working, all of you carry your coffee mug and then speak or whatever. It's cut off from office, right? So in case of a regular working session, probably it would have been a visit to the coffee shop or a pub or whatever would have changed that perception.
Oh, this is online.
Now it is online, so it is much more conflicting, right? Because your body language is not visible. Some of them don't even come on the video. Some of them, very, very challenging, extremely challenging, right? So people, when I see what you sound, people think, oh, he's an arrogant guy, right? So he's just thinking, he comes from that, and then he's just dictating. All of them don't know our sensitivities and things like that as well. I don't also see his body language and understand what he speaks, what he's thinking, all of that. And there are people, just believe me or not, there are people get influenced by the family who is just watching, and they are not coming on the call. They are put on the speaker, but they are listening outside. When I tell something which is good, impacting them, they may be influencing that as well, right? So they will say, no, you just leave. This guy is just, no, why should you work for this guy? I know you are like, so you see how the people get influenced, because in a normal organization setup, you are inside the organization. There are no external influences at that point in time. You just imagine when I'm talking to you, somebody else from behind telling you something, not to listen. So it is all the more difficult. So
yeah, really, okay.
Very, very challenging.
Employee organization fit is important, right?
Absolutely.
Employee should fit into the organization.
Sir, one more thing regarding conflict. Suppose if it is a simple conflict between two persons, it can be resolved. Okay, maybe you can have a direct one-to-one discussion. It can be done with both people can be accepted. In some cases, some of people who are always conflicting in nature, they always come with problems.
Yeah.
How do we face those people and solve it, sir?
Not only people, I think, I don't know, you guys have seen recently the Sundar Pichai's one recent article in Inc. I don't know whether you had seen that. He was saying that his mentor told him what issues you killed for that week or whatever, or what you let go this week or whatever. Right? Some of this is related to, I will send it across to Ravi to share it with you guys. This article. This is basically, his only job is to make things move forward. There will be conflicts because a company like Google, where two different units, and both of them are intellectually very strong, and they all think what they are doing is very correct, And just imagine people, someone like Sundar Pichai who has to resolve between these two entities, two organizations, two groups. And what his advice is that how much you move forward in that conflict. You don't side with A, side with B, but you move forward. And then also he says that who in that situation, in that conflict, in that situation, whose idea is will allow you to move forward, side
Okay.
with them,
Okay.
rather than you side with something. Even that time, probably it is like maybe you take one step back, but it will give you an advantage to move forward, right? So that is the kind of mindset which they've written. It's a very nice article. I will send it across to you.
Yeah,
Share it.
please do that. Yeah.
I will do that.
Is there any specific strategy that we have taught out to solve conflict? Maybe from your experience, you can share some of simple skills that we have to possess, or simple way of solving issues.
Yeah, probably some of them it is also 80-20 ratio, right? 80% I'm successful, 20% I have also failed.
Yeah.
But on an 80% of the occasions where I have been successful is that I have put across the in case of a conflict, I put the organization first. That's how I see. If there is a BIBMOS interest is not there, whichever team, whatever they talk, I don't take. That's how I put that. That's a very easy to resolve the conflict. I say if the organization interest is not the priority, individual priorities will get diminished. They just don't exist for me. That's very easy to sort of move on. And very individually, because of ego and whatever it is, that's very easy to resolve in a large extent, because you sit across the table, make them understand each other, not directly because they all come with a very lot of ego. You put that across and make I think the two guys talk to each other in a manner where they appreciate each other's strength and weaknesses. I think that's all that gives them, may not solve the problem that day, but they go with whatever, they'll become cat on the wall, right? At least it's not like they are completely agreed with me and then next day they will become, put a hand on their shoulder and then walk away. It's not like that. But at least it has created some kind of perception about that other individual, whatever he was carrying gets negated. At least you say, it is like always, you see when the conflict happens. I'll just give you an example. When a technology guy, an engineering coder, he thinks that the project manager is useless. Because I know I am the coder, this guy only carries my information and he is presenting to the client, he takes the credit. The perception is like that. If you ask the client manager, client facing partner, he says, the client shouts at me, spits on me, whatever, you have done the coding, but I have to take the shit on me and whatever, right? So you don't see that. You come and stand in front of the customer, then you will know. It's a very simple conflict, which you will see that in every organization, right? Whether it is manufacturing, whether it is engineering or coding software, anyway. I think this understanding of each other, creating what that guy faces in front of the customer, and then making sure that, hey, what does this incompetent code or inefficient code can cause trouble. I think if that can be sort of spoken, not in each one's lens, then many of these time you solve some of these problems. Like I said, may not be immediately, but at least they start thinking in that direction. So that's how it happens.
Dr. Ravi sir, you can.
This is a continuous process, isn't it? This resolving conflicts.
Absolutely. I think every day I have seen. I think if I am not come across a conflict in a day, I think it doesn't exist. I mean, to be very honest, every day something comes. Every day there is some conflict will happen, and the ability to navigate the conflict makes you successful or a failure. So how well you are able to navigate that conflict and move forward makes you and your organization successful than getting bogged down by that internal politicking and internal compulsions and priorities get shifted and all of that. So my only suggestion to everybody with whoever is conflict, don't talk behind the back, right? If you have something, develop a candor to speak in front, right? Straight, shoot straight rather than go behind the back and talk. Right. So and give a constructive feedback, right? If you are talking straight, it doesn't mean that you affect them, like, hit them on the heart. But you can tell the same thing with the very assertive manner, but very valid points, which they carry that and see that the other person's view is correct. Don't say yes when you want to say no, right? So this is where the next set of conflicts happen, right? When I assume that there are 10 people, I give this we have to do, that we have to do, and everybody shakes their head, and I think that they all understood they're going to do, and then 3 guys decide not to do, then you have a challenge, right? I think you assume they all shook their head and then they all onboarded with me, but behind my back they go and do something else. This is another set of conflicts we need to resolve. So you need to spot that body language and make that come out of.
That's wonderful, Suresh. I think your passion and energy amazes us. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Good that you did not read the list of questions, sir, because we too went with the flow,
Yeah,
But actually, he answered all our questions.
As long as it has been useful, I'm very happy.
Absolutely.
So, with your permission, let me give you a metaphor.
Yeah, please do that.
Suresh sir is like one very smart kid, who does not know the syllabus, but very smartly, efficiently answers all the questions and scores straight A+.